Hey everyone, so in this video I'm gonna show you how to set up, first of all, Balatro on your phone. It's not on the App Store, but there is no pirating involved in this video. Um, as you can see, it's working very well on the iPhone 11. And then I'm also going to show you how to set up automatic syncing between your Mac and your phone. So you can see after we close it on our phone, we open it on our computer, and we can play the same save file virtually right away. So yeah, let's start with the tutorial. Alright, so the first step, if you haven't already, install and launch Balatro from Steam. You don't have to play if you haven't, but if you have, don't worry, it's not going to affect anything. You just need to have opened it before because that's going to create the game directory that we're going to be accessing later. For this next part in Finder, if you don't see the same folders that I do, press Command-Shift-Dot to view your hidden folders. Okay, so you're going to navigate to your user, and then you're going to open Library and Application Support. And in there, you should find a folder called Balatro, and that has all of my save data, and it might look a little different. That's just because I've installed mods before, but that's okay. Okay, so all you're going to do now is copy this entire Balatro folder. This would be a good time if you'd like to paste it somewhere else just to keep a backup in case something goes wrong, but you're also going to make a new folder inside your iCloud drive. I just called it sync because that's what's going to be syncing between my phone, and then I'm just going to paste that Balatro folder into the sync folder. Okay, so now the save folder is in iCloud Drive, but Balatro is still checking that first folder in the application support. So we're going to make something called a SymLink using the terminal. So it's a pretty simple command, shell script that we're going to put in. It's just ln-s, and then you're going to have to copy the folder location, starting with the folder that will actually be linked. I use a shortcut to copy the file location in my quick actions. I will put the shortcut in the description, but you don't need it. Just make sure that you surround it with quotation marks when you paste it in. And then the second one, you're going to copy the application support path. That's going to be where it makes the SymLink, which, as you can see, it makes this folder here called Balatro. And if we go ahead and open it, then it links to the iCloud Drive folder. Perfect. Okay, let's give it a test run, make sure it still works. And we get the check mark on the Steam Cloud, which is a good sign. And there we go. All our save data is still here. And that is it for the Mac setup. Okay, go ahead and open up the link in the description for Balatro Mobile Maker. Head to Releases, and then download the correct one for the Mac that you're using. For newer ones, it'll be the ARM64. There's also one for the x64 Macs, but just make sure it's the right one for your computer. And this is the actual program that'll turn that Balatro exe file into an app that we could sideload onto your phone. But for now, our Mac doesn't really like this program. If you try running it, then it won't work. So let's just see what that looks like. So start by CDing into whichever folder you have these files in. And then if we try running it by dragging it in, you can see it says permission denied. So on the GitHub, there's a couple commands that we can type in. I'm not going to try to explain them because I don't understand them fully myself. But after you type in the first two lines, which you can see is a bit of a slow type, if you try running it again, this time instead of permission denied, it will just say killed. So there's one more line, and this one's a really long one, so I just copy and paste it in. And after we press enter, you should see some things happening in our folder. But now if we try running it, then it actually starts working. And then you can choose these settings however you'd like to do it. I like to clean it up. We're not going to build for Android, and we are going to build for iOS. And that's going to do a lot of things in this folder. It's going to install all the prerequisites. And then I'm going to go through the settings that I like, but it's really up to you. I like to put a 60 frames per second cap, just because my phone can't show more than that. I'm going to put on the landscape orientation patch and the high DPI patch, just for smoother gameplay. And then I will not disable the CRT shader, even though I usually turn it off. And that's it. We have our IPA, which is the app that we sideload onto our phone, and we can delete whatever's left in that folder. Okay, so before we sideload this onto our phone, there's one more thing we have to do to it, and for that we're going to download this program called Sideload-able. I also have a link for that in the description, and that's going to let us access the game files. So click the macOS download. I already have it installed, but it's a very simple install process. And it should look like this. You're going to drag the Balatro IPA into there and then open up the advanced settings. We're going to change the signing mode to export IPA just so that we could do whatever we want with it. And we're going to make sure to check off the enable file sharing option. And I usually also like to change the app version a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't let me export it if I don't change something about the app. But that's all we have to do here, so just press start and choose where you want it to export. I'll put it into the downloads folder, and there we go. So that's what we're actually going to be installing once it's done. As to how you want to sideload it, I won't be covering a tutorial here. You could find many online if you want to use Sideload-able or AltStore or SideStore. I personally use the eSign DNS method. I highly encourage you to search it up. It's very quick and easy, and I'll show you what that looks like on my phone. So here's my eSign, and if we look at my signed apps, I have the Balatro. The other one is just the modded one. Maybe I'll make a tutorial about it later. But I have the Balatro app, and we have to open it once on our phone before we continue the setup, kind of like how we did for the computer. But yeah, you should have a working Balatro now, although it does not have your profile set up. So let's finally set up the syncing between the phone and the computer. So we can find a similar looking game directory on our phones. If we go to the on my phone and then Balatro and then game, then this has the profile just like the one that's now in our iCLOUD. Except on our phone, we can't make a SymLink to the iCLOUD one. But using some neat shortcuts, we can take advantage of the fact that it automatically syncs iCLOUD Drive. And you can see here is the save files that we do need to move to that other folder. So let's go over the shortcuts that you're going to want to install. So you're going to have to modify these shortcuts a little bit after you download them, just because our folders might not look the same. So for the first one, you're going to click into the folder in your iCLOUD Drive where you're keeping your Balatro save file. And yeah, just press open. And then this filter action below is basically only going to sync your profiles, and it's not going to sync over any mods or settings or anything. And then at the bottom, you're going to find your local game files, and then press open in those, and that's it. Now, if we run this shortcut, you'll see that it downloads from iCLOUD Drive, and then it opens up the Balatro app, and this time it should have moved over our profile. Yeah, so there we go. Now it's very similar to set up the opposite where it uploads to iCLOUD Drive. So that's what the second shortcut is going to be for. And you'll also have to edit it a little bit. And that's going to be the sync to cloud shortcut. And so this time we're going to start with our local one, and then we're going to save the files to the iCloud one. So navigate over back to the iCloud folder, and then press open. Okay, so now you're almost done. We don't always want to be manually pressing the upload. So if you go to automations, you make a new automation for when the Balatro app closes. We change it to only is closed, run immediately, the Balatro app. Then that's going to immediately run our shortcut when we close the app. So then you don't even have to think about it. Okay, now since we want to be opening the app with our first shortcut, I'm going to go download the Balatro icon, and you'll see why in a second. I just searched up Balatro icon on Google and save it to my photos. And then we're going to go back to that first shortcut, and we're going to share and then add to home screen. And that's basically going to make an icon that will let us run the shortcut straight from the home page, and then we won't have to accidentally open the app without syncing. So I'm just going to name it Balatro. It's going to look exactly like the regular Balatro app. And then once it's all set up, you're just going to press the add button on the top right corner. And there you go. Now the bookmark is on our home screen. You can remove the actual app. And if you open it, it'll run the shortcut and open the app for you. And then the save file is transferred over. Okay, so now you're done. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you'd like a tutorial on how to mod your phone's Balatro.